Kia ora, good evening. Toyota New Zealand has issued a precautionary recall of up to 40,000 vehicles as part of a global recall by the Japanese car manufacturer. Vehicles affected were produced between 2004 and 2010 and include RAV4s, Prado, Hilux, Yaris and imported versions. Problems with the vehicles are related to the possible malfunction of a spiral cable installed on the steering column to connect steering wheel mounted electrical systems and a spring that may fail on the front seat rails. Toyota New Zealand General Manager of Customer Services Spencer Morris stressed the recalls are precautionary. He says there have been no reports of accidents or incidents related to any of these recalls in New Zealand or globally. Anyone who has concerns about their vehicle are urged to call 0800 Toyota. Computer users are being warned of potential security breaches as software giant Microsoft withdraws support for Windows XP and Windows Office 2003.
Users of the 12-year-old operating system are now being encouraged to upgrade to either a Linux-based operating system, Windows 7 or Microsoft's latest offering, Windows 8, as security updates will no longer be provided for XP. Microsoft's word processing suite Office 2003 will also be vulnerable to security breaches, as it too is now unsupported. Microsoft have issued advice to users saying that if they continue to use Windows XP now that support has ended, computers will still work, but they might become more vulnerable to security risks and viruses. Internet Explorer 8 is also no longer supported, so if a Windows XP PC is connected to the internet and you use Internet Explorer 8 to surf the web, you might be exposing your PC to additional threats. It's believed there may be in excess of 250,000 PCs in New Zealand still running XP.
The Fiordland Conservation Trust has announced the appointment of Laura Harry to the Trust as its new manager following the recent departure of Rachel Coburn. Ms Harry has experience in the legal and projects fields. Most recently, she's been project managing and capital fundraising for Coast Guard Queenstown's New Marine Rescue Centre at Frankton Marina. Murray Williams, chairman of the Fiordland Conservation Trust, says trustees are excited with the appointment and believe she'll bring some fantastic skills to the role. Mr Williams says the Trust is now well positioned to grow the organisation's program of work. Year 4 and 5 pupils at Woodlands Primary School have been busy making an environmental difference this afternoon through a local Living Streams program. It was stakes out and plant protectors off streamside in the Woodlands Township today as students carried out ongoing maintenance of their Living Streams project. Seedlings were planted 2 years ago and visits take place 3 to 4 times a year under the guidance of Environment Southland staff, who say the project teaches kids to appreciate the waterways, plants and ongoing maintenance. Pupils have formed a Living Streams committee and I asked a member what the big picture plan is for the area.
We're aiming to make it into like a little park, like for the visitors. And we're going to put a big path and then we're going to have a little area with a picnic table for like when you want to have a picnic.
And what about, you've made it easy for people to get down here with getting over the fence?
Yeah, we just, because that fence is barbed wire, so we're going to help so they can get over without getting pricked.
Taking a project from start to finish was behind a special combined initiative at James Hargis Junior College today. Year 8 students of the school's GATE program worked with Glengarry and Lindisfarne kindergartens to create an activity morning for pupils. In teams of four, students were tasked with developing their own range of skill-based activities, including planning, designing, organising and executing their concepts. The annual project is unique to the school and develops students' problem-solving and personal interaction skills. Tunnel crawls, kickbags, hitting and balance skills all proved popular, with the little ones, and kindergarten visits helped students identify what activities would catch the youngsters' attention.
We saw that they like to throw things around and they have tennis balls at the kindy. So we came up with an idea to draw Darth Vader or Scooby-Doo because they seem to like that kind of stuff, but then it would be too hard in the amount of time that we had. So we just made an alien spaceship and we cut out some holes and they just throw the balls through and they get a sticker if they succeed.
And so what are the kids learning from this? What kind of skills are they developing?
hand-eye coordination and their aiming, because maybe they want to play cricket or baseball when they grow up, and that just helping them.
After the break, Invercargill Mayor Tim Shadbolt on the key issues 6 months on from the local body elections. Welcome back. It's been 6 months since the local body elections, and Invercargill Mayor Tim Shadbolt says the atmosphere around the City Council has been a harmonious one, with a healthy debate over key issues. Mayor Tim Shadbolt discussed the key issues with Hunter Andrews, starting with the A to B boat race.
Well, I just see it as a feasibility study, and we are always looking at events. We're always trying to work out what would work for us. Some of them will succeed, some of them will fail. And that's just the name of the nature of the beast, I guess, in terms of events.
So A to B is just a miss amongst a few hits, you're saying?
Yes, it's just a hit you've got to take. Hobart hasn't been very kind to us. Our sister city collapsed that we had with them as well, but, well, that's... Again, no one in local government will ever have 100% success.
Let's move on to the inner city. Nothing really visual has started yet. Of course, we've had the farmers market come into the city, which is great to see, and it was very busy on Sunday, but there's no real movement, and Graham Sycamore says there probably won't be any movement until after Christmas anyway. Are you happy with progress there, and are you happy with the consultation that went on prior to the election?
Well, it was sort of unfortunate, really, that the 3 years of consultation ended up coming to a conclusion right in the election time, and that makes any major issue very difficult to make progress on. And this had the double whammy, of course, of being caught up in the earthquake-prone buildings issue, and where a lot of councillors were thinking, well, why do an upgrade now when we don't really know what's going to happen to the inner city? So it's I think we're reaching a compromise where we're doing projects that are almost independent, like the farmers market, as you say, and just taking our foot off the accelerator in some of the other proposals.
What about all those resources that have gone in so far, and the people's time, of course, consulting on this? Is that wasted money and time?
Well, I don't think it's ever wasted when you're doing research and looking at options and getting the community involved and debating over the pros and cons of whatever you're doing at the time. I never say that's a waste of time. All right, it may delay issues, it may take longer to get results than we would have hoped for, but it's still progress in a sense, even though visually, I admit, it doesn't look like much progress. I think people take time to get used to a concept, and they may initially react against it, but with more thought and debate and discussion and dinner parties and articles and media involvement, they may gradually swing and feel a bit more positive about things. And if we can get the earthquake-prone buildings scenario lengthened so that we don't have to rush all the assessments in 5 years and all the repairs in 15 years, that will certainly help with the inner city upgrade.
Yes, well, that impact has begun, hasn't it? Begun first the Water Tower, Anderson Park, Bluff Service Centre and the museum, and actually Rugby Park too, so it is now showing its true colours, these earthquake requirements now in the city, isn't it?
Yes, it certainly is, and it's helping us get a feel for what engineers think, structural engineers, who is available to do this work. Are there differences of opinion between the engineers? Some people are just shopping around till they get the result they want to hear. There's a long way to go on this issue yet, and I think council leading the way, as it has, will help people come to terms with this issue and what the options are.
Probably something you'll be very happy with, 0.43% rates increase. That would have brought a smile to your face.
It certainly
possibly
has.
That low.
Well, that's right. It has to go through planning procedures and consultation, but what a great start. And I think it's showing the real strength of Invercargill, and that is its economic strength in terms of the private sector. Our companies doing so well, forestry booming, And it also shows that the rate increases of the past have been faced up to, and the infrastructural work has been done. 20 million we spent on flood-proofing the city. Our sewage works, our water reticulation, huge costs that other cities are now having to face up to, and we're looking far better off, relatively speaking, than most councils in New Zealand when it comes to infrastructure.
Why not? Alan Swallow, long-time council watcher, of course, and often critic, let's say that, but he suggests that perhaps EIL, some of that better dividend should be returned so that we can alleviate the rates pressure. Is that a possibility in the future?
It certainly is, and we could do it now, but there's that balance that has to occur between getting as much profit as you can out of your private companies and leaving them enough money in there to reinvest or face an emergency should one occur. And I think we've got that balance right. I mean, if you compare us to our next door neighbour, City Dunedin, their companies had to borrow money to pay the council increased dividend. I hope we never are in that scenario, and I think the balance is about right at the moment.
Let's have a quick word about the draft annual plan process. People probably go, sigh, here it comes around again, but you would be encouraging everyone to take part. They've got till the end of the month, haven't they? And perhaps even present theirs orally.
Yes, and we will get a lot of submissions. We always have, and it's one area of council that does work well. All right, we face a lot of criticism, but more and more we're getting a bit of a pat on the back too. There'll be organisations that are facing economic constraints. There isn't as much money in the private sector that's freely available for charitable trusts, so they go to council as the next port of call, and we've just got to face it on an issue-by-issue basis.
Sport is up next after the weather. From the news team though, it's good night.